Hello everybody! Recently, Teamwood Games, the developer of Super Auto Pets, have put up some stats. As you can see in this tweet, they posted exactly how popular each of the animals are. Yeah, there's a page for the free-to-play stats and then another page for the expansion packs. I thought this was quite interesting, so I just wanted to make a quick video talking about some of it. Maybe go over how to interpret this chart. Alright, so the tweet just says, ever wondered exactly how popular each animal is? Wonder no longer. Here are some raw, freshly baked stats straight from our coughing servers. I guess their servers are still overloaded. Here are the free to play. Alright, I'll link the tweet down in the description below, but here we go. Here's the actual picture blown up a bit more so you can see it. So I don't actually know what the time window of these stats are. All it says is the date when they released the stats. So I don't know if it's only for the recent patch or if it's from, game launch to current time. If I had to guess, like just based on how these look, I think it's just for the most recent patch. I say that because like Dodo and Dog like equally popular. So that says to me that it's only this patch, because if it was a previous patch, I bet Dodo would be very high. So anyway, how do you read this chart? It's not super clear, but you can figure it out. So on the right side, here's the scale. And I think these are the percentage of how often an animal is bought, right? So down here, it's marked by turn, so you actually only have stats from turn 1 to turn 14. But that's okay, I guess the majority of games are played out in those turns. Let's take a look up here first, alright? So here in the first column, we can see all the tier 1 animals, right? So this chart is saying which animals are being bought the most, right? So if you look at fish, it's the brightest color, which means it's somewhere up here, somewhere in the 0.16 range. Of all the animals that are bought in turn 1, the fish accounts for about 16% of all of them, right? So that is how you would read this chart. Yeah, which is why as you go later down the turns, as more and more animals become available, then the color of the average square also, becomes darker. Because in the first 2 turns, like, the only things you're gonna be able to buy are, the tier 1 animals and the tier 2 if you upgrade. But I think the way that you can get some pretty useful information out of this chart is just by comparing how animals do versus other animals of the same tier. Like comparing a fish to, something down here like a badger is not going to be super indicative of how good the fish is compared to the badger, because all the tier 1 animals are going to be way more commonly bought since they're the only ones available. But we can see, like, just between tier 1 animals, you can see that the fish is really strong, or it's really popular. Oh, and another thing I should point out is this data only accounts for purchases, okay? So it doesn't matter which animals you bring into the actual fight. This only takes into account what animals you buy and how many of them you buy. So if you buy like 3 fish in a single round, then all 3 of those purchases would be adding to this stat here. Which is why, if you scroll down, you can see how ridiculously high cow is. Like, it's by far the most commonly bought unit in the later stages. People love buying cows and selling them. So here we go. And on the tier 1 animals, we see like ant and fish and duck are probably some of the most common ones, and that makes a lot of sense in the current meta. We got the otter too, pretty strong. And as you can see, as the turns go by, some of these units just get less and less common. But what's a bit interesting is, as you get to the end, they start getting bought again, and that's because of the dragon, right? So in the mid game here, like turns, I don't know, 7 to 10-ish, you're not really getting many tier 1 animal purchases, but once the dragon becomes available, they start coming up again, which is quite interesting, I think. Let's go tier 2 animals. Tier 2, let's see. Yeah, I think dogs is the most popular tier 2, as well as the swan, I think. And they're both quite popular until the end of the game too. Dodo as well. And the peacock and the flamingo is also pretty popular, which makes a lot of sense to me. The rat, no one's buying the rat. The shrimp, a little bit of purchases up in the early game, but I think, yeah, everyone's just selling the shrimp because, you know, it's not really a unit that's gonna do much good for you in the late game. Hedgehog is surprisingly low to me. I thought more people would tend to build hedgehogs and whales to try and do AoE, but in the current meta where everyone's just building big units, I guess that's not very strong. Kangaroo is very popular. A bit surprising to me too that it's this much more popular, but I guess that makes sense. I do run a kangaroo every now and then. In my opinion, the ox is probably better than the kangaroo in a lot of situations, because the ox at least you get, you know, 2 hits guaranteed. The kangaroo sometimes it just dies in 1 hit. So yeah, I would maybe like to see the ox come up a little bit. Alright, and as for tier 4, it's just monkey, right? This makes sense. Monkey is very high, and rooster is very high as well. What's surprising is the skunk is so low, and the worm too. I usually buy skunk and worm quite a lot, so it's interesting to see that people don't value it as much, I guess. Tier 5, we've gone over this, but the cow is very popular, extremely popular. Scorpion, pretty good too. Nobody likes the parrot, it seems. Nobody likes the parrot. Crocodile, rhino, also kind of low. Turkey's here. Not super commonly bought, but you know, it's decent. It's decent. Then in tier 6, we got snake and tiger at the very forefront, followed by fly and cat, and then, you know, some dragons, some leopards, and nobody likes the gorilla. Makes total sense to me. And yeah, that's about it for the pack number 1. Alright, and let's go to pack number 2. Seeing really similar stats in the early game. Fish, ant, both good. Surprisingly, Bluebird is quite popular. I guess it does make sense for you to run Bluebird for a few rounds, couple rounds, just to buff up a unit and then sell it later on. Bat and Dog, very popular tier 2 units. Same with the Swan, very popular tier 2 unit. And looks like nobody likes the Rat, and the Tabby Cat is also pretty low. And tier 3 we got Hatching Chick, Caterpillar, Owl. Wow, these are all pretty good units, huh? Makes sense that all these units are popular, and some of them popular all the way through to the late game. Then we got Bison. I think compared to the standard pack, the Bison is much more popular in pay to play. That makes a lot of sense because of the Caterpillar's existence. In pay to play, it's much easier to get a level 3. And then of course we got the Poodle and Rooster, also popular tier 4 animals. The Skunk, again, kind of slept on. Right, Scorpion, always popular. And T-Rex, extremely popular. Dang. And Octopus, surprising that people are still buying Octopus. What? What is this? What? Octopus is the 2nd most popular tier 6 animal? This kind of blows my mind a little. What? Okay, anyway. Yeah, there you have it. Quick and easy breakdown of the stats that the developers have put out. Thank you, developers. Once again, the tweet will be in the description below, so you can, you know, check out all this data for yourself. Alright, thank you everyone for watching, and bye bye.